Welcome to SCP Saturdays. Today will be another episode of my longest running series, Cartoons as SCPs. But because this series has been running for so long, I decided to theme these future episodes. Last week I asked you all to give me some PBS Kids characters to use, and I turned them into SCPs. And as many of you have suggested, I got a new mic. But, without further ado, on with the show. Hello, my name is Professor Nemo, and welcome to my third day working at the SCP Foundation. I have 4 more files to go through, so let's get started. First, we have item number SCP-C68-1. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-C681 is a resident of SCP-68, also known as the Neighborhood. All of the Neighborhood is contained within a simple containment cell, with once-a-day human access to keep the residents from becoming lonely and depressed. The residents of the Neighborhood are never permitted to leave, not that they would be willing to do so anyway. Okay, this is strange so far, but fine. Description: SCP-C681 is a humanoid tiger, often seen wearing a red hoodie. Despite being at least 57 years old, the entity constantly has the looks and mannerisms of a young child, around 5 to 6 years old. As stated in the containment procedures, SCP-C68-1 lives within SCP-C68, the Neighborhood. This is a small model neighborhood that was previously owned by a now-deceased man named Frederick Rogers, who witnesses have described as wholesome, kind, and too good for this sinful world. Seems like an odd description, but okay, rest in peace, I guess. At first glance, this model town seems like nothing too anomalous. However, if one stares at the toy trolley car that circles this town for long enough, they will be transferred into the miniature town and are able to interact with the residents. Notably, all these residents are quite friendly, and the operative sent here are not trapped in any way. At any point, they can simply ride the trolley and travel back to the real world. This seems stupidly wholesome. Knowing how these files go, I'm waiting for something to go wrong. Are the residents actually dead kids? Are they brainwashed into being permanently happy? What's the deal? Many residents of this town are bipedal anthropomorphic animals, such as cats, owls, platypi, and of course tigers. Other residents are simply identical to humans. They take on normal occupational positions, such as bakers, teachers, librarians, etc. Okay, this seems normal. Too normal. What's going on here? Besides the anthropomorphic animals, the only significant difference between the neighborhood and the average American neighborhood, besides the overall lack of violence, is that it is seemingly a monarchy. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. The king is a tyrant that's forcing all the subjects to be constantly happy under threat of destruction, right? That has to be it. However, this may simply be a constitutional monarchy where the king has no real power besides being a figurehead. Even if the king had any political power, there's no evidence that he is doing anything malicious with it. Wait, really? That's the end of the file. No, I know how these work. There has to be something, right? Right? Okay, I'm starting to think that today might not give me an existential crisis. Next one. Item number SCP-C96. Object Class, Safe. Okay, 2 safe entities in a row. That's weird and suspicious, but carry on. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-C96 is part of a small community of anthropomorphic animals. This is an isolated community, and as such, the Foundation has made sure to keep it so. Okay, that's the second isolated neighborhood of humanoid animals I've seen today. Is this going to be a pattern? Description: SCP-C96 is an anthropomorphic aardvark, often seen wearing a yellow sweater over a white button-down shirt, blue jeans, red tennis shoes, and brown glasses. Okay, how do those glasses even fit on his face? They don't latch behind his ears, and his nose is pretty much a downward slope, so how? I know that isn't in any way relevant to this conversation, but I'm curious. SCP-C96 lives with a family of other humanoid aardvarks, including a father, mother, grandfather, and a younger sister. Though all of these entities have been classified as safe, many operatives and researchers have requested many termination methods for the younger sister of SCP-C96. These have included burning her alive, execution via hanging, drawing and quartering, or even simply selling her to the Global Occult Coalition. Ultimately, these requests have been denied, as being annoying is not a good enough reason to exterminate an entity. Okay, you all need help. I'm just saying, does this company have like an on-site therapist or something? What do you mean you don't even have dental? Whatever, not important. Similar to SCP-C68-1, SCP-C96 seems to be internally a school-age child, though this time in the 3rd grade. He has a close-knit friend group that includes a humanoid monkey, poodle, bear, bulldog, moose, and most notably a rabbit. This rabbit-like entity is likely the most helpful in determining the inner workings of this microsociety, as by studying him we have determined that this microsociety has many similar constructs to our own world, such as divorce. I'm sorry, what? That's horrifically depressing. We also have reason to believe that the father of this rabbit-like entity is actually famous Hollywood actor Matt Damon. I'm sorry, what? You know what? I'm not even going to pay any attention to that. Moving on. Item number SCP-C209. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-C209 is currently contained in a foundational warehouse, where it is being experimented on and reverse engineered. The passengers of SCP-C209 have all been taken to live on a private island nature reserve, to live in a hopefully natural habitat. The only passenger of SCP-C209 that we've contained for interrogation is the conductor of SCP-C209, who is kept in a 10 foot by 10 foot containment cell. 5 pounds of carrion are to be brought to the entity for sustenance every 2 days. Okay, this seems strange, but fine by comparison to the last one. Description: SCP-209 is a time-traveling train, operated and used by various dinosaurs. The train is also designed to look similarly to a dinosaur. The primary operator of this train is the conductor, an orange Troodon, often seen wearing a red conductor's hat and vest, and often carrying a ticket punch and a pocket watch. He is seemingly able to speak and understand English, as well as having an encyclopedic knowledge of dinosaurs and dinosaur anatomy, though, strangely enough, his information regarding this topic seems to match what we have speculated in the early 2000s rather than our modern information. That is weird. Almost as weird as a time-traveling train run by dinosaurs. Seriously, I feel like we're glossing over that. SCP-209 was first discovered in the summer of 2009. Operatives discovered an ancient-looking tunnel with strange markings that couldn't be matched to any known culture. Through reverse engineering, researchers were able to discover that this tunnel was in fact a portal. The researchers managed to activate the portal and accidentally summoned SCP-C209. With the information we got from the conductor, we learned that this was a time tunnel, which the train could use to travel back between various prehistoric eras. These portals were likely destroyed during the same extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs themselves, and this one was only reactivated to our meddling. See, this is what I've always said. Never mess with science you don't understand, or else you may accidentally summon a time-traveling train operated by freaking dinosaurs! It's fine. I'm calm. Last one for today. Item number SCP-C957. Object Class... oh no. Apollyon. Not one of these. Why is there always one of these? Special Containment Procedure. Operatives are to stay vigilant of SCP-C957 sightings. Shortly after his appearance, witnesses are to be anesthetized and all evidence of the entity is to be terminated. Description: SCP-C957 is a humanoid cat-like entity with black and white fur. He is often seen wearing a red bow tie and white gloves, as well as red and white striped hat. He also has a long neck and rather lanky limbs. He also frequently travels with 3 companions. One is a talking red fish, while the other 2 are small humanoid entities with blue hair, known as Thing 1 and Thing 2. Okay, that is horrifying to look at. Never mind, let's just end this. This entity was first discovered in 1957 when it appeared to isolated 2 children named Sally and Dick. It then used its powers of reality warping to have fun with them, manifesting objects and causing mass destruction. Shortly after it left, the Foundation arrived to clean up the evidence and anesthetize the 2 children. However, this chaos would continue. Every few years, SCP-957 would resurface to 2 new children and perform similar actions, except for the time where it had a fight with SCP-C066. Occasionally, he would even go as far as kidnapping the children and taking them on adventures to far-off locales, using a strange vehicle known as a thingamajigger. However, the children would often be returned unharmed. I mean, at least they're unharmed, but still. Do we happen to have Chris Hansen on the payroll? We might need him soon. However, his most recent outing was quite different. Witnesses reported an odd change in behavior and attitude of SCP-C957, as he was much more crass, violent, and was even reported to say, "I can't repeat that. Just know that it involves garden tools." It was also reported that, in this outing, the SCP had a voice that sounded identical to SNL star Mike Myers. Hey, guy in the back who always says the memory zap zap, can I get a hit of that really quick? Thank. Hello, my name is Professor Nemo, and today is my 3rd day working at... For next Saturday, I will be turning Mario characters into SCPs. If you have any suggestions for characters to use, comment below. But until then, goodbye, and I will remember you all in therapy.